Joining me now is the Republican congressman from Texas, the Waco area, Congressman Pete Sessions. Congressman, thanks for talking to us here on the Hill.
You betcha.
I wonder what you make of those comments from the DHS Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas. Everyone in some form or another wants comprehensive immigration reform, but is today the day to be talking about that? I mean, there's other issues along the border.
Well, in fact, the administration did not even allow their own majority a chance to pass their own bill. So it's a complete lie to say that they were wanting Congress to do what their House and Senate presidency did not do. They have made a decision from the day that President Biden was sworn in. He took his oath of office to well and faithfully execute the laws of the country. Went about 1.2 miles south of here and immediately began changing and signing things into law that would have turned this into a lawless nation. And I think everyone recognizes that with this surge, the tremendous surge, we've already had 6 million people come here illegally. We may end up with 18 million more rather rapidly. That means that we would have probably 3, 4, 5, 6 times the amount of drugs flowing into this country. And while I'm not a demographer, I would tell you that probably means that the rate of people who die from drug overdoses will go up 2, 3, 4 times more. This is a hoax that they are attempting to put on the American people. They're acting like that this was just beyond their control, and it's 100% exactly what the Democratic Party wants to do. They all want to overrun every single town in this country, and they want death.
Well, I don't know that anyone wants death, Congressman, but I want to talk to you about, since you mentioned drugs.
Then you would do something about it. There's a direct impact of the people and what they're doing.
Let me ask you, the House Republicans today passed their border package, but it was complicated. It was tough. There was even negotiations among Republicans, and one of the issues was the idea of whether or not you need to label Mexican cartels as foreign terrorist organizations, because then that would essentially lead to a credible fear potential for immigrants to claim asylum, and that was one of the things that Republicans were haggling over. Do you believe these cartels, which are responsible for pouring fentanyl into the U.S., need to be labeled as foreign terrorist organizations?
Well, look, when you're a Republican and you, a member of Congress, you want to propose that, you'll be in that debate. The bottom line is we did not want to change this to be a credible fear argument. So we know what we can do. We did it today. But the bottom line is the effects are well known, and that is drug cartels, and the DHS said this about what's getting ready to happen. They fully expect that drug movement across our border, as well as seizures, will go up dramatically.
I'm obviously not the member of Congress, and you are, sir, but I'm just simply asking the question, should they receive that label? What's your take?
No, they should not receive that label. We should understand the difference between giving someone an argument which is well taken up by people versus what our impact would be. And so we passed the right language.
All right. Want to move now to the debt limit bill, or at least the debt limit and the debt ceiling and whatever happens with that. Last night, Donald Trump basically endorsed the idea of a default. You're on the House Financial Services Committee. What'd you make of the former president saying, essentially, we could default? It wouldn't be a bad thing, per se.
Well, I think he knows that would be irresponsible. But what he's suggesting is that the President of the United States, for the first time ever in a modern era, did not negotiate before a vote. And Donald Trump negotiated before a vote, gave very favorable reasoning to Nancy Pelosi at the time, and they resolved the matter. We were looking for the President of the United States, if it is the circumstance that he says it is, to come and negotiate. Now we're in a circumstance where it's up to the Senate to pass something to where we can begin that issue and then get something to the President. I would never be for default, but it does not mean that I want to vote again, because I don't know what the outcome is going to be. I don't know what the bill looks like. So my vote is still hanging in the balance, even though I know it's the worst thing that we could possibly do if we don't come up with an agreement. But this is where people who have differences find a way to resolve the differences if they truly believe that it's a bad issue. And we are in a terrible position. So Republicans passed our bill, and the president did not think we could, and we did. So that's a starting point.
Thanks for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to subscribe. Click the red button to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.